Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. This morning we are going to be making a few more Tarkov tutorials. The ones that I made yesterday for my brother were actually pretty well received, and I'm getting requests to do a few more for not only to continue to help my brother, but to actually help a couple friends of mine who do not have as much experience on certain maps, wood maps being one of them, finding the extraction location. So we are back at it this morning. I was actually going to play a couple different games, but I like making these videos when the wife and kids are not home. It makes my life so much easier. So this first tutorial, we're going to be starting off on the woods map, finding the extraction locations from the house spawn. So let's get started, shall we? And as I always like to tell anyone, if you are new to the game, if you are an inexperienced, or even if you have a little bit more experience, or even a veteran, play, especially if you're new, play in offline mode, learn the maps, get them down to a science, especially before the game goes live. And what I mean by getting them down to a science, learn every bush, every building, every location, right down to the very last leaf on a tree, every bush. That way you have an advantage over everybody else, as well as an advantage when the game finally gets out of beta and going live, because there will be so many more areas to learn. So practice offline, get those maps memorized, learn them, and it's even a great way to practice just against scavs, again, you know, to hone your skills against. So let's get right into it. One of the first things that I always like to tell people is make sure that you have your map on you for whatever area you're running. In this case, we'll be running woods, so I have my woods map on me. I always prefer to pick my starting locations. Once you get them down and you've got the areas memorized, you really don't need, the maps on you, because you're so good at the map, you know where everything is. You can spawn anywhere randomly, and you can get quickly oriented, and you know where those locations are. Even with that being said, I know woods very well, I know customs very well, I know factory very well, but I always bring my my maps with me anyway, because I prefer to choose the area that I spawn in at, so I know where I am. Oh, excuse me, my coffee's coming back to haunt me a little bit quicker. So for the purposes of this tutorial, we are again going to go into offline mode, and we are not going to be introducing any scavs or AI scavs, I should say, into the match, so we can get through it quicker. So again, we're going to be starting on the house side. This is why you bring your map. You can choose your starting location by either just clicking on the old station icon or the house icon, and then you will spawn anywhere within this blue circle. One of the tips, since we have our map up, one of the tips that I like to give, the extraction locations on the woods map are actually very, very easy to find. Most of them are actually just along the fence line. So if you spawn in on the house side, all you have to do is quickly find this fence, keep it off your right shoulder, follow it all the way around, straight to your extraction points. Okay? This water is a great waypoint. If you are a little more familiar with the map, if you spawn in here, instead of finding the fence, if you can get yourself quickly oriented, you can run right to this water, this lake area, and then you can start following it around from there. Same thing if you're down here. Well, actually, let's talk about the old station for a second. Same thing, old station side. If you want to just learn quickly where you get lost, if you're anywhere over in this area, just run straight to the bottom of the map, the south, and follow the fence line all the way around straight to your extraction points. This one right here will cost you 3,000 rubles to extract, or you can continue to follow the fence around right to the primary open extraction. Okay, same thing on the house side. You can just quickly find the fence, find the water, no matter where you are. If you're here and you know where you are, just run towards the top of the map, find the water, and quickly follow it back around to the to those extraction locations. So, finding extraction locations on the woods map, very easy. Find a fence, follow it. You will eventually find an extraction location that you need. People spawning in on the house side, they prefer spawning in here because it is a quicker route to the lumber mill area, where more of the popular loot is. You have some really nice weapon crates in there, and a weapons case that actually spawns on the back of a pickup. So again, we're going to go into offline mode. We're not enabling any scavs, no PvE, just to run through it a bit quicker. Alright, here we go. So as you see, we spawned in. We actually spawned in not a bad location because we're right next to the fence line. And as you heard me say just moments ago, find the fence and keep the fence to your right side, off your right shoulder. So we are going to come around, and I could easily just run straight to the water, which I mentioned a few moments ago. But just to show you, we are going to take the long way around and show you how we can easily use the fence line to find our extraction locations. Now in this situation here, it's kind of interesting where we actually spawned in, because I can quickly show you where the primary spawn location is if you had spawned in on the old station side, which I've already covered in my station side tutorial. But again, as you come here, the fence is right on the right, and you're always looking for that pickup that's right there. So as you run towards that pickup, you don't even have to be close to the pickup. All you have to do is, once you encroach the pickup, usually you'll immediately start to spawn. So usually anywhere right in this area, kind of maybe just past these trees, you will actually start to extract. I like to do is just kind of run up here. By the time I get here anyway, I'm usually extracting out. But again, follow the fence line, and this will lead us right to the water, which is not too much further in front of us. Rebuilding our stamina a little bit. So here is our fence that led us right to the water. Let's take a quick look at the map just to show you where we are. We followed that fence line. Okay, we actually kind of spawned in somewhere right in here, maybe just a slight back. We followed the fence all the way down to the water. Same thing, no matter where you spawn in around this house location, either find the fence by running straight north or to the top of the map, or if you're a little bit more experienced and starting to get a little bit more familiar, you can run, no matter where you are, you can run straight to the water. Okay, so from this point, we're going to again keep the water to off our right side, off our right shoulder, and we're just going to kind of follow it around. And then once you start getting familiar, you can start using other landmarks as your as waypoints. See, if we're running towards the boat and this pier and not running away from it in this direction, then we know we are headed the right way. Now, once we get up here, you're going to quickly start to see why the house side is the most popular side, or the preferred. Most people like to spawn in this side, because right there's the lumber mill. And I will quickly show you why the lumber mill is so popular. This is the most popular area on this map. You'll encounter most of your firefights here. You will run into most. It's the most heavily concentrated area, unless people are trying to sit off and snipe people. But this is the most densely populated, most popular. Highly concentrated area. You will get into your majority of your firefights here. People love to come to this area. This is the best loot. I don't know if I should say the best, but probably one of the best loot locations. Because as we come into this metal building, say we have a loot crate right here, and these, I should say, cases more than crate, because you can, as you can see, as they're starting to spawn, we can get modification gun modification parts. We have a full SKS here, and you can actually, I mean, look at all the nice loot that we have right there. Okay, again, right here. We have more nice loot. You have, decent chances of whole weapon parts, modifications, all that kind of stuff. And then once you come out here, right on the back side of this pickup on the tailgate, you have an actual gun case, and you have a decent chance of a weapon spawning there, although it kind of was stingy on us. And then the other reason why is if we come right to the front of the pickup, if you look, oh, that's not the one we need. If you come over to this side, I think it's they're a little more over here. It's hidden. So once from that pickup, you can find this truck with the hood up, and then you can come over here, and in these buildings, and we'll just run to the second one. As you can see, you will find a safe. You will find some stuff on the shelf. You will find some jackets and things to loot on the wall, which will have keys in them, that sort of thing. So you can quickly see why this is one of the more popular areas on the map, why people like coming here and fighting over it. And once you're done fighting, and if you have survived, if you're with your teammates, whatever, and you're ready to get the heck out of Dodge, then you can just once again find your way to the outside wall. Okay, hopefully you have fairly decent direction sense. Just kind of run back the exact same way you came. Find that outer perimeter. And then as you can see, we are right back to the water. We are going to turn right again, and we're just going to keep following it. To our extraction location. Sorry, I was kind of processing a couple thoughts there at the same time. So anyway, you get the idea. Find your way back to the outside water, to the outside wall, follow it around. My apologies. I'm trying to think of kind of things to say here, because this is a little bit of a run. I really don't like kind of any dead space, but it is what it is. Again, as we're continuing to run, we still have the lake to our right side. We have some other little landmarks, the van here, the boat in the water. Now you do want to be a little bit careful when you're coming this way, because the area does open up a little bit. You do have some bushes that you can, run to. But if you got some people up here, especially in those bushes, you can be sniped fairly easily. So just bear that in mind. Keep your head on a swivel as you're running, regenerating. Use the bushes for cover, what have you. But as you can see, this is a pretty open area, okay? Now, I'm going to show you why you want to keep your head on the swivel. Because when you get to this point, as you can see, if a person gets here before you, if they spawned in from the old side, this is a pretty good little ambush, little sniper location. So as you're running from that car we just passed, the boat, you can get sniped and shot fairly easily from this location. So as you're running towards here, again, be very, very cautious, be very careful. Now we're going to continue, see, right back to our boundary wall again. And this is actually supposed to be our first extraction point. I don't know why it's not kicking up, but this is actually the RUAF gate. So maybe it's just time sensitive or one of those things, but this is actually your first extraction location. Maybe we just haven't looted anything. Sometimes these extraction locations are on timers. You can only access them certain types of day, but there actually is your first one. Moving right along, we're going to keep the wall again to our outside, off our right shoulder. And we're going to go to our next extraction point. Again, kind of open, so be cautious when you're running through here. Other kind of landmark when you've gone past the first extraction, the RUAF one. A lot of people kind of think, I don't know if you actually need a key for this extraction point, or if it's an extraction point at all, but it does make a nice little landmark to let you kind of know where you are. Run right into it, following the fence line as we're doing. Again, the area is kind of open. There are some nice, you can get into those rocks over there and just wait for people to run by. So as long as you keep the fence to your right side, you don't actually have to be that close to the fence. You can come in here, kind of get down. You can even set up your own little ambush point here. People may be running behind you. Whatever. Regenerate your stamina. But we're coming up on our second extraction location. As you can once again see, the fence line runs us right into it, so we're going to come over here, run inside this door, and as you can see, we're starting to extract, okay? So there is extraction point number 2, the UN roadblock. Not that hard to find, again, right on the fence line, okay? Now, our next extraction point, as you can see, here's that red brick building again. Be careful when you are extracting, or when you're encroaching this area, from this side, because this is a player spawn location. Scavs do patrol this area. To show you your next location, your next extraction location, excuse me, it's actually the same idea as if you had actually spawned on this side. Come into the building. If you know where the location is, you can actually run directly to it. But again, here is a kind of a guide, an easy way to find the bunker that we need. Come inside the building from the back side. Come in out this way. I like to just keep, this right here, right to my right. Then we are going to find our two rocks, which I like to call the twins. And if you are, again, a little familiar with the map, you don't actually have to run through that building. You can just actually find these two rocks. We're going to find those rocks anyway. To show you the landmarks. So again, find the twins, come to this corner. There's our two trees. And we're going to run through those two trees straight to the bunker. So once we get through those trees, run straight to these bushes here. And voila, here is our bunker. And we come down here, and this is actually an extraction location for you. Make sure that the green smoke is up. If the green smoke is not up, you actually will not extract from this point. But again, this is our next extraction point. Again, might be time sensitive, might be kind of earlier in the day or later in the evening. But a key sign to any of these extraction locations around the bunkers anyway is there will be green smoke pouring out of this. So if you come to this bunker and you see the green smoke, then you know that you can extract from here. So once again, once you're coming up, we are going to turn to our right, and we're going to get to the outside wall as quickly as possible. I should have found it a little faster than I did, but even though it took us a little bit longer, just get to the high ground. Here is our fence line. And we're going to continue to do the same thing. Now once you come out of that bunker, you actually don't have to run to the fence. If you see those mountains right here, just kind of look for those mountains and you can run straight to the mountains. You don't even have to follow the fence line around because that's also the border as well. So we're going to continue to follow the fence line around, and that's actually going to take us to our final extraction location, which you have to pay the 3,000 rubles for. Again, when you're coming here and you're following the fence around and you are looking, keeping the border to your outside, check the corners. This area right here up in these rocks is another. I showed it to you on the custom, when I was doing the spawn location from the old station side, but we'll show you again on this one. You can get up here anywhere there. You can get over here. If my jumping skills were a little bit better at the moment, you can get over here, and as you can see, this is actually a nice little ambush sniper location. Okay, so keep that in mind. But again, following it around. As you're following it around, here actually, if you run in here, is another little loot location, which I kind of showed you on the other tutorial, starting from that spawn. But again, we're just going to follow it around, and You could actually run that way. Make sure you stick close to these because we're actually going to split those two. Again, coming around, we're looking for players, we're looking for scavs. This is another little rocky, area filled with rocks and boulders that you can set up a nice little ambush spot in. Again, we're continuing to follow the boulders, keeping the fence line to our right, off our right side. And again, from here, there is the woods location again. So if you came here, it would cost you, this is your extraction point, the South VXE extraction location, but as you can see, it will cost you 3,000 rubles. So just to show you rather quickly, we are once again right back to the woods area. I mean, excuse me, the woods area. Yeah, we're on the woods, Thomas. So once again, if you had 3,000 rubles on you, if you've looted, the safe in there, and you've come this far and you want a quick extraction, let's actually see. We have some cash in here. Nope. But anyway, you have fought in the lumber mill, you have annihilated the masses, you have acquired all of your loot. All you have to do, if you want a quick extraction, is just find the 3 buildings after you have done everything you wanted to do here, looted inside the buildings. Just come to the back side of the buildings. There, thank you. And then all you have to do is follow it straight to where that car is. Finland number 1. That's awesome. So you can quickly extract from that vehicle location, which is actually more over this side. But again, if you kind of get lost, you see how quickly it was easy for me to realize, look, I'm running the wrong way from being oriented on this map. So all I needed to do was take a quick look at that big rock up there, the big mountain. Now I know my other guides are right there. Those stacked pieces of wood is what we actually would have needed if we run the proper way. And then we can run over here and we can actually use these as more of a guide because the road is right here. So if you are, this is probably a little bit better. If you're into the lumber mill, you've done all your fighting, all of that kind of stuff, find these piled stacks of lumber, and then you should be able to follow them straight back this way. It's probably a little bit easier when you follow. Let's do it this way. Go from here over these, find this road, and then you can actually run right to that car, which is right here. You have the 3,000 rubles, you can extract and go enjoy all of that nice fat loot that you have just acquired. So there you have it, everyone. There is all of the extraction locations starting from the house spawn location. I hope you enjoyed the video, the tutorial. Hope we learned a few things. And I am going to end this one here, and I'm going to now move on to the customs extraction location guide from the boiler side. So have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.